All right, hey, welcome. Welcome to Jimmy D's RC Factory Fridays. I'm Jay. We got the next guy beside me. What's your name?
I'm known as Gus, but some call me the Slippery Gypsy.
The Slippery Gypsy. And then down the end?
Who we got here?
People sometimes call me Tim.
Have I pronounced that correctly?
It is.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Excellent. We've had a heck of a week. Of course, we had a bit of rain last couple of days, so we haven't had a chance to go out to the field. Young Tim over there and I did get to go out to the field on, was it Wednesday we went?
Wednesday, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, man,
Great
we had a good time. So
fantastic day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Tim was flying his E-Flight Extra. And man, every time he flew that airplane, I was just so bloody impressed with the roll rate. Because you had your E-Flight Extra, and I commented like I had that Precision Aerobatics Addiction, that green one that you see up there in the corner. And I thought, oh yeah, roll rates should be pretty similar. But I reckon because yours, so what do you fly that on?
A 4S.
On a
4S
4S.
2200.
So it must be hauling so much more, and your deflection must be so much greater, because his roll rate is easily like a third again as much as mine, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
It is wicked.
Yeah, for that plane, it's quite incredible, the performance of it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
2 rolls per second.
It's pretty darn quick.
Easily, right?
Yeah.
Because a Pitts S2C that I used to fly is 2 a second, and that's definitely faster than that. It rolls like your Carbon Z, It's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
So that was a good day. You got some sunshine amongst this rain.
Yeah, it was good because all the old buggers, they left when the wind started coming up the hill. They didn't want to land downhill with their big airplanes.
Yeah,
Right?
they didn't know.
Yeah, they couldn't get.
What did you fly?
I flew the OMP Hobby Super Decathlon. I flew the E-Flight F4U Corsair, and I flew the Addiction. But Tim also flew your Goblin.
Yeah,
Goblin
the Goblin 500, yeah.
Yeah, so he's
It was a bit of fun, wasn't it?
It was a bit of fun because he did your first loop that day.
Yes, the second loop.
Second loop.
The first rolls.
First rolls.
Yeah.
And how many flights have you got on it?
5 so far.
And before the rolls and loops, it was like 3, wasn't it?
3, yeah.
So
That's
he's
right.
doing loops on his third freaking flight.
We're getting straight into it. There's no holding back.
More rolls than Vietnamese bakery.
Yeah. So we would say he's got some bravery. So how would we say that in Aussie vernacular? Do we have
Got some balls.
Okay. Well,
Straight as a steel.
that's how I'd say it. What did you get up to this week? Some will call you Gus, the just slippery.
Slippery
gypsy.
Fixing a little helicopter. Trying to. I've got a bigger helicopter, so the little one's good to work up the confidence and to get the balls of steel going for the big one. A lot of work, but in between that, fixing a new ESC in my Sebart. So we're putting a new Hobbywing ESC in the 1.5 metre Sebart Sukhoi.
Yep.
Yet to be maiden. That'll be next week, hopefully. Okay. And apart from that, we went to a truck show on the weekend. Is that sort of what we might want to start off with?
Yeah. Do you want to start getting into that stuff?
On your channel, you've got a video that you've posted up, and Figs RC. He's also got a truck show video. It was out at Clarendon Classic. Tim didn't get to make it out, unfortunately, but you and I and Steve did. Figs did. And went for 2 days. There were abundance of real trucks, awesome steam engine, traction engines, like really cool stuff out there. Just didn't know what else where to look. There's so much stuff, right?
There was so much. There were open-wheeled race cars.
Yep.
It was awesome. There was this old boat, right?
Clinker boat. Yep. There was a Bill Buckle car. I met Bill Buckle.
Did you meet Bill Buckle?
I claim to fame. Everyone's seen the Bill Buckle number plates with Bill Buckle, right? Well, I met him at the Narrabeen Lakes doing using one of my boats, and he's right into boats actually. But he made the car called the Buckle Coupe, I think it was. So it was good to actually see one out there in person.
But good-looking car.
Yeah, pretty sporty.
It is a good-looking car.
In between an old Datsun and an Alfa or something.
Yeah.
Pretty sleek.
And reliability-wise, did you guys know much about the car? Was it?
Bit before my time. I haven't done my research, I've got to say.
No, it's because you mentioned Alpha, Tim, and I thought if it's like an Alpha is supposed to be like a Mini. It's like you're going to be your favorite car and the car you hate the most in the same car.
In the same car. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
that's what Alphas are known for, aren't they?
Yeah, bloody hell, that's for sure. Okay, so do you want to start talking about the trucks? I guess we could talk about the little big rigs.
Yep, go for it. I'll bring a truck over.
Yeah, you go ahead and do that. While you're doing that, I might show you what I've been doing on the Powerwagon.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you got one right there. Sorry, I thought you had to go over
one
there.
I prepared earlier.
You go ahead. You go ahead.
And so this is a Tamiya truck. Basically, it's called an Aeromax. You can buy them as a kit. Sometimes you find them built secondhand. This was already built about 10 years ago for someone, long story short, who worked for Main Freight, did a paint scheme up. They originated in New Zealand. They're all around the world now. Now that you've seen it, you'll probably recognise more out on the road. And we've put a GT power sound and light system in it. And I've set up on my Futaba remote. Running a Genzace battery. I use them in my drag car, so obviously a little bit more power than needed in a truck, but it's an 8200, so I get about 60 to 80 minutes runtime out of one of these with a Hercules Hobbies 50-turn motor. Yeah, it's really cool. Got a speaker box up here, lights all through it. Yeah.
So that's a 130C battery. So you use that for the drag car, right?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Now, so let's do the math. And anybody, if you're in the chat or if you're watching the stream on the replay, if you know better than I do, please, I'd like to learn. So let me know exactly what's going on. So this is 8200 milliamp hour battery,
correct,
which means 8.2 amps.
Yep.
Now 130C, that means that we can take 8.2 amps times 130 and discharge at that rate. Is that
discharges at 130 Cs?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
So a lot of power.
That's incredible.
We'll just
Definitely pumping out the power.
Yeah.
Let's give it a little bit of a test. So we've got the remote on. I've said I want a Fataba, so I've got extra switches to actually actuate the lights and the sound. We're running a little Castle Creations brush speed controller. Nothing too flash, but basically you can remotely turn the sound on. So we've got engine on one side of things, and you've also got lights. Nice and easy. We've got hazards, so we hold the stick to the left and pull down for hazards.
Turn the game down a bit.
You got a horn. Feeling a little bit horny this truck is, so you've got a little bit of a horn going on there. So yeah, and then also if we show the lights as well, I can turn them on individually. I'll turn the truck toward for viewers here. So you can just drop that on top there.
Oh, you do that.
Yeah, that's right. So that just fits on pretty easily with 2 bolts. It screws on. Then we've got.
That sounds a lot more realistic when you
Yeah. It's got the echo with the speaker box and the lid on. So turn the indicators off. Bit of a horn again, and then we've got remote control lights. So and that GT Power sound system is about $120, so it's quite a good budget. The Tamiya one's what, about $500?
Yeah, those systems are quite expensive.
So
Overall, these do pretty much the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So just say that again, just because you might have been drowned out.
So on that note, we have a Tamiya sound system that comes with there about $500. So this is a cheaper alternate, basically for about $120. The Tamiya one is basically 2S speed controller only. This lets you run 3S, 2S. It's got a bit more power to it. I think it doesn't heat up as much, maybe. So a little bit more newer design. I've bought some scale details. You know, it's got alloy wheels. Some horns on the top, cut up a bit of Coke can for a visor, pretty rough.
Is that what you did?
Yeah, it's
that's awesome.
Pretty scale, and it's got some alloy fuel tanks on the side here, bit of scale checker plate, which some people even haven't seen it before. Wow, they do checker plate in such small detail, so yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Anyway, so...
Can you see it? I don't know if they can see it. There we go.
Yeah, it's a bit
awesome, man.
So that was what I was driving around as part of the show, and I've got a basically stainless steel tanker to go on the back of it, a little bit big to fit on here, and what you can get containers, you can get all sorts of stuff.
Containers, flatbeds, low loaders, anything you really want for these. Custom made trailers.
Yeah. And Tim, you've got Smokey and the Bandit?
I do, yeah. I've got a Smokey and the Bandit replica, which is based on the Grand Hauler, Tamiya Grand Hauler. Usually people would use a King Hauler to do a Smokey and the Bandit replica, but I wanted to make it a little bit different, but still make it a Smokey and the Bandit truck. So it's a bit longer, a bit more bling on it, and I've got a reefer trailer, which is a 3-axle container trailer.
Okay.
And it looks good.
Yeah,
it looks good.
Yeah. Well, I've seen
nice.
it. Yeah.
And without going into much detail, this is a Tamiya night hauler, just something different. Basically, you've got a few different models. You've got European, American trucks, global lineup.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So this is more like an American style, I guess you'd call it, or
you would say this is an American style truck.
So yeah, once again, we've got some alloy wheels, light kit on it, and things. I won't go through it all, but we've got the horn and scale antennas. Figs was kind enough to give me a few of these things to use, which is awesome. Thank you. And an aftermarket bull bar. So custom paint job with some Tamiya TS metallic orange paint with some silver underneath it to make it pop, and it's really good fun. So
the silver underneath it, is that like these?
No, so that's a chrome paint pen. So anyone that wants to do any paint jobs with a proper chrome instead of just a silver Sharpie, a good little tip is to look up Molotow. You can get them at art shops, things like that. Locally in Sydney, I think there's a few people that sell them. They're actually a chrome paint pen. So you can see I've done some chrome pinstriping. but this is the actual chrome paint pen, so very similar and quite a mirror finish. I think it's Lizu or Hercules Hobbies that do these aftermarket lights. And so yeah, they're all plumbed in and ready to go for, and then we've got a remote control fifth wheel on the back, so that's basically just an addition to remotely hook up a trailer and unhook it, I guess is the easiest way to describe it. So anyway, so I just thought it'd be nice to show a couple of trucks. And,
for the real scale buffs.
Yeah,
sure. But it's incredible, these trucks, the amount of scale and detail in them from factory.
Yeah.
You know, people don't realise how nice they actually are until they see them in person.
Yeah. And the kids love them out there at the show, don't they?
They do.
They sure do. All right, I'm going to ask you guys to vacate the area for a moment.
Look out!
I'm just going to need a bit of room. And then I'm going to be vacating the area in a moment as well. We're just going to get into our projects. We don't have many projects tonight. We do have one or two. So here we go. I have got the Freewing A-10.
And isn't she sweet?
Isn't she?
Just back towards you a little bit.
Back towards me?
Yep, that's it, the wheel's on.
Thank
Don't want to fall off the benches.
Excellent. Just watch the drink. I'm going to back it up.
No,
I'm going to back it up. There we go. I'm going to plug her in and show off all the lights and everything in this one as well. And then we're going to do a little bit of work to weather this thing. So
are you doing some panel wash, are you?
Yeah. I'm going to do some panel wash. Now,
accentuating these details here.
I don't know if you... Oh, something's going on. What was that?
Technical problems already. No, I'm just kidding. We'll get it sorted.
There we go. That's good.
Batteries in.
Batteries in.
So you run two 6S.
Two 6S. I'm running usually 5200s.
52s. Wow.
And my timer is set for 3 minutes. And I get a little bit more than 3 minutes. I can safely land it. If I start the landing process at 3 minutes, it comes down on storage, running at full power for takeoff only, and then half throttle for the rest of the entire flight. Yeah. But have a go at how nice this airplane is with all the scale details, lights, and everything.
So it's a Freewing A-10.
Just grab that wingtip if you don't mind, there, Gus. And we'll just turn it so they can see. You don't have to lift it. Just rotate her towards the camera so they can see the landing light there under the main undercarriage.
And she's bright.
Right? And then on my side, I don't know if you can see the reflection on my hand, you've got the green. And then, of course, you've got on Tim's side, you've got a flashing white beacon. Can you see it on his hand there? The reflection, there you go. And then, of course, you've got the nav light on Gus's side. All right. Now, let's have a listen. What I've done is I've taken the vortex whistles from one of the Nerf footballs and I put it into the EDF unit. You gonna stand there?
Yeah, okay. I'll show them how much it blows. It's an ideas man, this guy. No, not a blowjob from a fan like that.
Have a listen.
All right, so
it really gives it that turbine sound, so I really enjoy
That's
that.
very cool, man.
So the A10 does have that high pitched turbine sound, doesn't it?
Turbo, actually the GE turbo fan. Now last time I flew it, I landed it. You guys were there, right?
We were there.
Yeah, I landed it quite poorly. I didn't keep the power on, and then it kind of fell in and nosed in, and then bounced. And because that undercarriage is so well sprung, right? Anyway, long story short, I crumpled a bit of the nose. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and sanded all of that crumpling back, and then I used Model Light. I'll just get over here behind you guys, if that's all right. Just Model Light, like a light spackle filler. And I filled in the cracks. And then, like I usually do, I went to the local hardware store, and I went with a wing, and I said I need a color match. And so, I did a color match on the paint, and so that's after it's been Model Lighted, painted, and I redid the panel lines, and that's how she's come up. So she's ready for decals again, but before I put new decals on it, what I want to do is weather it a little bit. So I'll just demonstrate what I'm going to do. Can I just get you to flip the ailerons back and forth every time it does that? Yeah, sure. Okay, thanks, man. We'll just do this so I can be sure you can see. Am I out of the way enough that you can see what's going on? So what I've done is I've taken the back of a bamboo skewer for some rivets, and I've just really lightly indented the foam, okay, for some rivet lines. And here I've just got a wash, and what it is, it's thinned out paint. I've used black and like an olive drab green and some brown. And so what I've done is made it really thin solution, and I'm just gonna put that on my brush and brush the panel lines that I want to weather. And it doesn't have to be nice, doesn't have to be pretty. It can be big and messy like that, that's fine. And then once you've done that, you take a paper towel. You don't want like terry cloth or anything like that. You want to use paper towel that doesn't have any like fibers on it that'll reach into the cracks, right, and into the recesses.
Leave any little furry bits or fibers.
It's more like you don't want to take away the wash that's in the crack. That's the reason for it. Yeah. So then you take and you go in the direction of the airflow. Once, twice,
and that sets it in.
And it sets it in, and you just keep doing it. You know, and you try to get off the big major stuff because we don't want a whole heap of it. And then that's going to weather that up nicely. And as you can see, all your panels then pop, right? And it looks like it's gotten greasy while it's been flying through the air. So that's how you weather your airplanes. Now don't worry about it if it looks like, oh, that looks like it's too much. Keep in mind these are scale airplanes, and you know they go flying so quick in front of us. They're not meant to look pretty up close. They're meant to look pretty in the air, right? And in the air, that'll look fantastic.
I don't think I can follow your plane with my drone that close to see it on the GoPro, but hey, anyway, it's worth it. Yeah.
There it is, and that's the effect. That's how you can weather your airplanes. Anyway, so there is the A-10. Now, Gus, what do you have for a project? A Goblin 570, right? I'll unplug while you go grab that.
Can I just say, Jay, in that time you've just done that, the effect that it's given is quite, it's a good achievement for something so quick and easy to give such a good effect.
Mind you, I've got to do the whole bloody plane. And there's a lot of square footage on it. I appreciate what you mean. Yeah, you can really get a big improvement on an airplane, and that'll add, you know, on an airplane this size, $200 to your resale value if you decide you want to sell it, right?
Yeah.
Because it makes it look realistic.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get that out the way.
She's a beauty.
Thanks, man. And now on to youngest.
Youngest. I'm not the youngest, am I? No, Tim is. Spring chicken.
I probably look the oldest.
Was that the grey? I got one that's going here.
Yeah, I got this like big patch coming up.
At least your patches are there.
I say this is the kids and this is the missus.
So what do we got? We got a Goblin 570 heli. Tim's got a 500. He's been busy looking for helis for all of us in the club to get us into it. You know, it's a bit easier to fly them instead of the wet runway with planes. So it's another thing to delve into.
And as you're saying that, just big shout out to Jim Wilkes for all this as well.
He's moved down to Canberra now, but he's going to come up and fly hopefully at the club. So we've got fiberglass canopy with easy canopy releases, which is pretty cool. Hopefully I made that look easy, it should be. So we've got some really good gear in here without going too in depth. Basically for the heli guys, we've got a Scorpion 1100 kV motor that's run on 6S. We've got a quick release battery tray, so basically speaking it's nice and easy as long as you know where the latch is to pull the battery out, which is a pretty cool design. So we're running HRB 4000s. I'd like to have some Gens Ace, but these are nice and cost effective off Vahi V at our club. Big shout out for giving us a good price on 4 of these. XT90 plugs to put out, you know, over 100 amps. So I guess we'd be pulling these. Basically we've got some BK, I think they're Burke camera, the guy who does his own servos, and all alloy, about 23 kilos. We're running a I still haven't figured out how to say it, but I think
Killerbody.
It's Killerbody. Yeah, is that Italian? Is it?
Yeah.
No, of course you'd know.
It sounds Italian, but
it's German.
It could be German. Oh, yeah.
It's Contronic, so it's a 140 amp speed controller. It runs 8.4 volts to get about 20 kilos of torque out of these servos.
That's awesome.
I think they're 0.030 speed as well. In the tail, we've got a smaller servo. It's a bit hard to see, obviously, from that side. And we're running a Micro Beast flight controller. So my old helicopter was Flybar, was an Align 500. This is a bit bigger. It's flybarless, so basically it's got a gyro flight controller that controls all the control surfaces. And
the stability.
And stability of it too. So Tim was working for about 6 to 8 hours with me yesterday on it, doing most of the work. You can actually put a Bluetooth dongle in, connect it to an app on the phone, right? So how cool is that, right? Don't have to have your computer and stuff these days out in the club, which is a lot easier, not having to pack that. And what did we set up? We set up, without going too far into it, the tail servo.
Everything.
Everything. Everything. So from how many degrees pitch we have, And it's a 3-blade head, so this is quite unique, I guess. We don't really see these around much, do we?
No, but they're getting more and more popular.
Yeah, it's
more
a beautiful, I mean, just, and it sounds good, doesn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It was actually quite quiet. When we were hovering it today, it was very quiet.
It was quiet.
That's just on low head speed.
Yeah.
All right.
But once you get putting in a bit more collective, a bit more pressure on the blades, getting that head speed up, it's going to make a beautiful sound out on the
I
field.
can't wait.
Whack, whack, whack.
Yeah.
So that's been the latest project. I fixed my little one to fly that to practice in order to get this one up and get the balls of steel to fly properly. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to show. I'm really happy with it. Thanks for finding it and all that sort of stuff through Jim for us. So
excellent.
Yeah, we'll hopefully get that flying at the next couple of weeks or Sunday if it's fine. We'll just see what the weather does.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
That's
Follow that around with the drone and crash into it. That's going to be fun.
Well, it's yellow, right? We all know that I'm attracted to yellow. I can't crash into myself, can I?
We don't fly yellow things around, Gus, do we?
No, we try.
Hang on, you flew the gypsy moth and it survived.
Gypsy moth, tiger moth.
Tiger moth.
Yeah. The gypsy moth was the airplane before the tiger moth, and it didn't have swept wings like that, right? So the instructor would sit in the front cockpit, and if you have a straight wing, the straight wing would go right over the instructor's head. And they lost so many instructors that they designed an airplane with a swept wing, not realizing that that improves the stability of the airplane. And so a lot of happy accidents, I think, happened in the world of aviation back in those days before they had computer modeling and aerodynamics, flow modeling, and all that stuff. Anyway, they figured it all out. So that's where why the tiger moth looks a bit different than the gypsy moth. They use the same motor. She came good. So, what have I been up to this week? Other than going flying with Tim on Wednesday, I've had a crack at getting this Dodge Powerwagon body. Now that's an AliExpress special, so it's not an official brand at all. It just is what it is. I've gone ahead and I painted that, as you can see, like a dark green, and then I just used some gunmetal for the windows, and I just peeled it off, and I threw some Proline decals and some Hobby Wing decals on it, and Injora decal, because I think there's Injora something or other on that. And instead of using body posts on this one, I've just used magnets. Oh yeah, I put some, as you can see, I put some working headlights in there as well. But I was driving the crawler around the week prior to working on this, and I burnt the bloody motor out, didn't I? So I'm waiting on a new motor to come. What I did is I attached that magnetically. So I've just taken some of those rare earth magnets, and these are on a little gimbal like that, and that's it. That's how the body stays attached. What I also did is I took some paddle pop sticks and made a custom old-fashioned bed, so a timber bed. So that's proper timber. I took the paddle pop sticks and I burned them with a blowtorch, and then cut them all to the right size so I could lay down like a hardwood floor pattern, and then used epoxy to glue that into the bed. What do you think of that?
And that looks really good.
You like
I was
it?
actually going to comment on it before.
Oh yeah?
Saying how cool that timber bed looks.
Thank you, man. It's a bit heavy though, so like if you have a feel, because it's real timber, so it
but
won't...
well worth the effect, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so. It might be
come
a
out
bit
really
of a shock
nice.
queen.
The body itself has come out really nice.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy with it. Look,
yeah, no, you should be.
So, like I said, I can't wait to get the motor in that. So the motor that I'm going to go with in that one is, again, I'm going to go with the same motor that I've got in the Red Cat, which is the Hobby Wing Quick Run Fusion. Now, there is some debate as to what KV I should be using, because I run these on 3S, right? And so should it be the 1200? That's what I'm running in the Red Cat, but then I find I've got no high end at all.
Yeah.
So maybe I should go something with a bit more.
1800 would probably be a little bit better.
1800 or 23 is the next one.
23. I'm running a 23.
Yeah.
With the Fusion Pro.
Yeah. So.
And but the good thing is you can run it on. If it's too fast on 3S, you can always drop it down to a 2S.
Right.
And just cruise around.
You can limit your throttle, I guess, in your radio too.
You can
right?
also.
Yeah. Because I've got one of those Futaba 3PVs, and
But being fully programmable, you can also program them to run on 3S, but tone the whole thing down as well through the programming unit.
Gives you some options, right?
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. Excellent.
But amazing slow capability of driving slow.
Oh, it's incredible.
It's better than probably any brush setup I've ever used, even the high dollar ones. So
I haven't found a motor so far that's actually gone as slow in wheel rotation or anything just by touching the trigger. And it's so smooth.
That brushless is the way to go.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Sealed,
it's an incredible system.
Yeah.
Do you want to show us your truck?
Yeah, I think it's
your
time.
crawl?
Yeah.
Go ahead and show us.
Timmy's TRX4 Sports. It's had a standard body on it for ages. So what have we done?
Yeah,
Or
so
what has he
originally I got this TRX4 Sport from Crazy Hobbies.
Hey, Crazy
good
Hobbies.
mate. Our good mate Oscar.
Crazy
Go.
Hobbies, Parramatta Road, and what?
Northumberland Avenue.
Yes. Yeah, phone
Opposite
number?
the Empire Hotel.
And I started off life just as a standard TRX4, and being at home with my neck surgery, I thought I'd want something to do, so I started upgrading this, and we've started off with a LC70 Killerbody, hard body, which was all sprayed in gloss black, with a nice little matte black accent down the sides. The tray itself is all matte black, underneath matte black. It came together really nice, really nice. It's nice in scale.
Yeah.
It's got working lights, front and rear.
Checker plate on the side
It's
steps
got
as well.
actual metal checker plate.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
just a decal.
No, you run your fingers on
Oh, mate, feel it? Hey.
These checker plates along the side here.
it. Yeah,
Hey?
yeah.
I feel a little green now. Oh. Where did you get that?
That came with it. That came with it.
Cool. With a
Yeah.
Killerbody.
Yeah, with the Killerbody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was actually for the TRX4. So it came with the mounting posts and everything like that. The only thing they sort of don't tell you with this body is that the rear suspension won't fit. So with this rear suspension, we had to change it to a cantilever system
All right.
because the standard posts and everything don't fit inside this tub.
Are you able to take the cover off and show us what that looks
It's
like?
screwed on.
Oh,
It's
okay.
screwed on,
So-
but we can definitely lift it up
Do you want to
and.
lift
So
it
that
up?
means instead of the shocks going vertically,
Yep.
the shocks go horizontally.
Correct, yeah, and
Right.
I use a cantilever system. So
Right.
if you see at the front there, the shocks, I've modified this also. So my shocks actually run forward
Yeah.
rather than going backwards.
Yeah.
It puts the weight towards the center of the car,
Right.
but also gives it a lot better flex in the terms of the way that the geometry works with the cantilever.
Okay, I see what you
Yeah.
mean. Yeah.
So I get
Yeah.
really good flex.
Look at
You
that.
know, the
Yeah.
articulation in the wheels is quite incredible.
That's great.
So I can lift that right up and
Yeah.
Do you want to
it
take the
does
body
really
off?
nice.
He can.
We
He's
can
got-
if we
he's-
got some
what do you need?
Tiny
little
Phillips head.
2 mil.
Two
I think it's
mil.
a 2 mil, 2.5 mil.
So we've got a couple of comments. I didn't want to leave Nick out. He's been very busy commenting. We've got enough with the one. I'm trying to relax, but you know, it's one of those things. But yeah, good idea to try and do a little wash. So that wash effect, you've got a Sport Cub 1S. So that's the Park Zone or E-Flight one. You can do a bit of a wash from maybe where the engine is, a bit of engine oil down the side. So you can use that tip on your plane. Luke Ray, the Beaches boys, yeah, the Beaches Gypsy, the WRCS Mafia.
We got the, where's the before and the after? I don't even know if you can see the difference. There's the after for weathering, and as you can see, there's no line there before.
Yep.
So same idea.
Nice panel extension lines,
Yeah.
I guess you'd say. So we've got someone V. I wonder who VS is. Would that be V? Do you
Yeah, that's
think
V.
VS?
That's V. That's our boy.
Heli's time. He wants to look at our.
Well-
What's that heli? Yellow heli.
That could be an Alpine Rescue Heli V. I think we'll bust that out in a second. That's going
we-
to be the showstopper, I'm pretty sure. Because
Yeah,
we're all
we're-
going to have to scatter out of the way just to fit on the table.
We're saving that for later. Yeah, we got the Tim Killerbody's LC70 right now, and then custom heli comes next after. But you made him take the freaking
Yeah,
body
he's making me
off,
take it
so-
off.
Got to make him do some work, right? He's been
Blame-
sitting at home, right?
Blame this guy. That's what's
Working.
on. Yeah.
I've only pulled this on and off about 400 times in the past week.
I bet you have.
Another one's not going to hurt, is it?
So while you're doing
Why do you do your
that,
drag guard?
well, while you do that, I
Okay.
forgot to mention back on the Sydney Little Big Rigs. So that show we had at Clarendon Classic out at Hawkesbury Showground. They've got a Facebook page, and Figs RC and Jimmy D's RC have done YouTube videos on it. I've put up some pictures and all that sort of stuff, and we'll be doing a video soon too. But I guess I just wanted to mention that in Australia, one of the suppliers that we do get our stuff off is Aussie RC Trucks and Trailers, Ian Wall. So if anyone's doing Tamiya Trucks and never heard of him, check out his website. He does scale equipment and details for 1/14 scale Tamiya Trucks, earth moving equipment, and all that sort of stuff. So,
But also that he's an absolute gentleman.
Yeah.
Absolute gentleman. He'll offer his help and advice if you have an issue.
Yeah,
He's a great guy to have a chat with.
Actually, he called Figs and went through a whole bunch of stuff
Yep.
with him. The beer system,
Yep.
that $500 sound system that just does all the lights and sound through S-Bus, which is a really good setup. And that's another alternative to the Tamiya kit. So you helped him out with that. That was pretty cool. All right, so you've got the
right.
Hobbywing Fusion sitting there.
Fusion Pro,
ESC
yeah.
motor in one. Yep, Pro.
You get that off of Crazy Hobbies?
I did indeed. Yeah.
Fancy that. There's a common theme going here.
Down under. Yeah, no, look, I wouldn't go anywhere else, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I've always been with Oscar. He looks after us. His customer service is, second to none. And he's generally a good bloke.
You get to deal with the Maltese Falcon Rodney.
Just don't give him your credit card details.
Cash is king. So I went into the shop about 2 weeks ago for the first time, and I've got to say, you go in I don't want to mention any other hobby shops, but you go into other hobby shops, and you don't get the same feeling. I felt like I was walking into a bit of I don't want to say like a trendy nightclub, but a cool nightclub where you just want to hang around.
Yeah.
And I went up and down every single aisle, and then I did it again.
He's part of the crazy family now. I've got him on board.
Look, we go there and we allow 2 hours minimum. Just for chit chat.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah, and that's not even looking at something.
Yeah, and that's what this is supposed to be too, right? Because Crazy Hobbies is closed on Friday.
Yep.
So come to the live stream instead. Have the same kind of chat.
The Fantasy Factory with Jay.
That's the one. That's the one, man. But yeah, what a great shop. Really, really kind of like a hidden gem. I didn't know it existed until I found them on eBay, and then I met you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually brought my first plane from Oscar.
What did you buy?
Which one?
It was a Dyna Meteor 70 mil.
Dyna
Meteor 70 mil EDF jet.
Yeah.
First plane. Never flew before in my life. And he said to me, "Have you flown before?" And I said, "No." He said, "But I'm pretty sure I can figure it out." And he goes, "All right, man.
I'll see you next week.
And how long did that last?
It lasted for ages.
Really? You got good flying out of it?
It was, you know what?
That's the thing.
It was quite incredible.
That's the thing. Like we were talking on Wednesday at the field, right? And I said to Tim, he said, "Oh, do you think you'll ever go back to teaching flying?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know, man. Once you have kids, things change a bit." And I started to talk about the different types of people you have when you're teaching, right? And I have had like engineers with 2 left thumbs, and you would show them something ad nauseum and they couldn't hold like an attitude picture, and they just could not grasp it.
Yep.
But my best pilots were always like truckies or machinery operators.
Yeah.
And because you're a machinery operator, man,
dexterity,
I bet you see
awareness.
something once, you understand it. You're wired that way, man.
Well, when I first brought my first plane,
Yeah.
we went to the local field at St. Ives,
Yeah.
and it was literally straight off the ground.
I wasn't with him, but I know where he's talking about.
Okay.
Lots of trees around, right?
There is lots of trees. There is lots of trees.
Yeah, man.
But I had a flight. I flew for about 3 or 4 minutes,
Yeah.
and I landed.
That's
And that was my
a good
first
day.
flight.
That's a successful first flight, right?
I'm not going to mention names, but my brother-in-law brought one as well.
Yeah.
And his flight lasted about 4 seconds.
Crunch.
So there's one shed on the whole field,
Yeah.
and he hit
Find
it.
that one.
Of course,
And he hit it
right into like the side of the shed.
like straight into
That's excellent.
But mind you, Oscar was very happy to see us.
Of course.
2 hours after we left his shop
Yeah.
to go buy another one.
Excellent.
There was
no
What was
warranty
your second plane?
Second plane after that, I think.
Oh.
After that, I think I brought an F-18.
Yeah?
The Freewing
The Freewing.
90 mil F-18.
Oh wow. That's
Yeah.
In the Aussie colours, the same one that you've got,
Yeah.
Gus.
Yeah.
That was spectacular.
That's a Freewing, old school. Yeah, vector thrust,
Excellent.
6S,
Yeah.
suspendable AOs, everything. So yeah.
Yeah, do
That's
flat
great.
spins in them. Everything.
I'll be getting that out
Yeah.
when the runway's.
Yeah.
Do the Cobra, right?
Yeah. Air brake up.
Yeah.
Mate, do you want to grab your drag car?
Yeah.
What do you have a chat about that cantilever?
So we
system,
can
if
see
you
it a
don't
bit
mind.
better now. So this is the cantilever setup. That's the shock obviously running along towards the front of the... What's that?
I think
That's
you
right,
can
you
see
can
it.
see it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see it. Yeah,
And then obviously you got your cantilever system with a control arm that goes down to your differential.
yeah, man.
And obviously to fit any sort of flat body on it, you need to run this system
Right.
with the cantilever.
So this is this a hard body? Like if you roll that, is that going to break?
Now, I don't think it'll break. It'll scratch my paint job,
Yeah.
which I'm pretty peeved about.
Same as the hard body trucks.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
exactly the same. Yeah.
And so that battery box in the TRX4, is that waterproof, or do you have to?
Yeah,
put
that's
like
all
a
waterproof, so that's the
gasket?
receiver box and everything.
Yeah.
And I've actually got a box mounted on the back of the tray, this one here, and that's my battery box. So
Oh,
that's
is
a new
it?
battery box.
So you can just plug in. That's of course. That's why it's screwed in.
Yeah.
Ah,
yeah.
it's genius, man.
So
That
this
looks
comes
so
off,
good. Yeah.
and you just slide in your battery. In there. And
alloy.
Yeah,
Great.
so that's there now.
Eh?
Because the hard body does take away the original mounts where your battery usually would mount in
Right.
a TRX4.
Right.
So you have to move all that stuff in order to fit this body on.
That's clever, man.
It
so,
is.
Because it's a low body, I guess the center of gravity changed. Well, I don't know what the original TRX4 is like when it comes stock. If the center of gravity is quite high.
Yeah, the center of gravity is quite high in comparison to other, top-notch crawlers.
Right.
The TRX4, though, this I think performs fantastically for what it is.
Yeah, man.
Straight out of the box, you don't really have an issue.
Right. I mean, it's not.
You've seen it crawl.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's completely standard.
Yeah.
I do have a full brass upgrade coming for it to keep all the weight down the bottom.
Nice.
And try and protect this nice body.
Yeah. You don't want it to roll, man.
No, I don't want to scratch it. No, it's
That's
too long.
a trick.
To show
Too long
them,
time to paint.
I guess around this side, because you got the snorkel, right?
Yeah, it's got the
So,
snorkel.
fender flares, snorkel, mirrors. Oh, look, you've even got mirror in there with the reflection. Very
Yeah.
good.
Look, the
Little
kit
lights.
itself is actually quite amazing.
Very detailed.
With the detailed mirrors and the stickers on the
In the cab.
on the dash
And
and
what,
everything.
Yeah.
what did you go with, wheels and tyres?
So wheels and tyres, I went with the YR Racing.
Oh, yeah, racing?
They're
Yep.
a 1.9 rim. The tyres that it came with were a 4.5 tyre, and they just looked a bit big for this one. So I went down to a 4.15 BF Goodrich in the Pro Line mud terrain.
Yeah.
And I think it looks a lot better, a lot more scale.
It looks really scaled.
And I think it's going to perform pretty well.
Absolutely.
And this is the new Predator compound as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the softest compound
Very
they got.
soft, very soft. So it should give some good traction.
Pro-Line Blue Dot Predator, and then you've got the G8, which is a bit longer lasting, but a bit harder in the
Yeah.
frame. So,
Yeah.
and the compound. So.
The yellow dot.
Now, here's something I noticed is that there's a blue dot on
Yeah.
the one side of the tire and
Yeah.
not the other. Does that indicate anything in particular? Like
The
this
compound.
is inside,
Just the
that's outside?
compound.
That's the compound.
So it's only, okay, so
Predator
it's not
compound?
like direction of... Okay,
No,
great.
no.
And you can just scratch it off to make it look more scale. So
Great.
there you
Yeah, which I haven't done yet.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get
It's all
there.
But yeah, we've got a
I'll
few
get
more.
those.
We've got a few more upgrades coming. I've got a metal bumper bar with a winch and a light bar.
Yeah.
Coming.
Ooh.
I've got some roof-mounted fog lights and stuff coming as well.
You going roof shooting?
Yeah, we're gonna go roof
Hey,
shooting.
let's-
Yeah.
I'll get some pigs.
Yeah, I'll put the dude in the back. But yeah, it's got a few accessories coming, and of course, these came off as I was taking off the body. There's some
Oh,
scale,
yeah.
my scale exhaust to hang out the back.
Yeah, that's
Very cool.
nice, man.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
tips
But yeah,
are-
it's all coming together very slowly.
Bowling. That's sweet. It looks so
An
good.
ongoing
Yeah.
project.
Ongoing project, but it will be finished soon
And
once
we'll
these parts
go
are
for a
arrive.
crawl and get some video of this too, so that'll be really cool with the other
Yeah.
scale cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I'm forward to getting a neck operation so I can do this. Trust
Trust me, you don't want the neck operation.
Oh, okay.
You don't want the neck operation.
Excellent. Well, great, man. Thanks for showing us that one.
No problem at all.
Good show. All right. Do you have anything else to talk about with these products first before we want to move to the drag car, or shall we do the drag report?
I'll take the lid off. Yeah, the drag report. So we had the truck show last week. Previous to that, on your last live stream, you mentioned with Mickey D, that basically Mickey Z, I should say,
Mickey
that we
D.
had the
Zinger, Michael.
Zinger box. You love that.
Zinger. There's a story to that. What's the story involved?
I think he lives next to or above KFC.
KFC
And it's
and
kind of breakfast, lunch, and dinner, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, yeah, so-
you can comment, Michael. Let us know how much KFC you eat on a weekly basis. The good old Colonel, not Colonel Angus, but
the other
we
Colonel.
won't go there for now.
Yeah. So he's developed a
He is
resistance.
down south though. Yeah.
He's developed a resistance to the
He's got iron
KFC,
guts, I think. Yeah.
and you have not. I think
Not
that's
all
what
the
happened.
time. Anyway, so after the truck show, or previous to that, we had the drag event. Western Sydney No Prep RC on Facebook. Michael Ryan does a really good job, and the other helpers like Brad Thomas, Clint Spiteri, all that those sort of guys helping out. They basically hire out, I guess, a really big car park flat with lights on it for night running. And it's got great traction out there, better than the roads we have up here, right? There's speed humps everywhere, dirt on the roads everywhere. Maybe we can get fixed to pressure clean the road. That might help.
Right.
So I entered two classes. I've got an older car, which is a Traxxas Space car. It runs basically 2.5 seconds or slower. If you go any faster than 2.5 seconds, you're too quick for that class, like real drag racing and bracket racing, and you break out and you lose. So long story short, with that car, I went through, it's a funny story, top qualifying, you actually get a bonus of 40, 50 bucks, right? So that's something to strive for. You get an out to qualify, and we've got this little thing that goes in the car. It's called a Sky RC GNSS. If you just started doing drag racing, they're about 100 bucks. Crazy Hobbies has them, a lot of hobby shops has those. You can pick them up very readily, and there's an app on the phone that you link it up You push the button, you program how many meters you're in, and it tells you your G-force of your takeoff, which can help with a lot of analysing your traction and your gearing, and also your top speed and how long it takes in seconds to get over that 42 meters, right? That's a scale quarter mile in RC drag terms. So I got a 2.50, which is pretty much the fastest you can go in qualifying, and another guy got 2.50. Then it goes back to your mile an hour. Whoever got the highest mile an hour gets the TQ. We both even, exactly the same, got the same mile an hour, so it's who got that time first. And I can't remember exactly the name of who got that, but well done to him, so that was pretty cool. So from there, we do a chip draw, basically a bucket with a whole bunch of chips and numbers on them. You get a number and you line up against the people. You have a few heats and then your semi-finals and your finals. I was lucky enough to go really well and ran 3 races and winning. Got to the final with our 2 buddies, right? Dan Kenzie and Aaron Watts. He's from the Central Coast. They travel all the way down. They're really cool blokes to hang out with and come a long way to run this event. I end up in the final with Aaron. And we sort of thought, geez, you know, Aaron's pretty quick and he probably thinks, you know, I'm about the same speed. So off the line, full throttle, we did it. We both broke out. We went 2.45 and the race was dead even. We've got some pictures where on the finishing line, our cars are neck and neck. It was too hard to tell. So we just decided to do a rerun. He got me off the line. I'd like to say my motor glitched or something, but at the end of the day, no excuses. He beat me fair and square. He won the prize and the prize money and the respect. So I've won 1, he's won 1. It's Northern Beaches versus Central Coast, right? So they'll be back to get me. Anyway, so now at Crazy Hobbies, I was lucky enough to get a good deal on this team associated DR10 drag car. It's a carbon fibre drag car, mid-mounted motor. My other car is rear-mounted, so they tend to wheelie and be quite a lot harder to get the power down. You've had it happen with your rear-wheel drive car, the Losi and the DR10.
Yeah, the silly salmon.
The silly salmon just wheelies.
Blows the tyres off.
Yeah, that's true. And so the motor's in the middle. Basically speaking, it puts the traction down a lot better. I've still put about 200 grams up the front here. To give you a rundown, I'm using a 3.5 turn Reedy motor and an XR10 Hobby Wing speed controller. They're about 160 amp burst rating of like up to 300 amps. And one thing I did want to mention, for anyone who's doing drag racing, even though before I said I used the Gensafe Redline batteries that are 130C, this is a 2S battery. It's like a brick, right?
Yeah.
It's 400C rated, and it's made or developed from Black Knight RC in Australia, Jason. Big shout out to him for sending me one of these. Thank you for your support. XT90, they come with QS8 connectors, which are even, you know, bigger bullets than these. I just run the 5mm bullets because that's what my speed controllers have. And this basically gives you all the power you need to do a full hit, and in those 2.5 or 2 seconds, the voltage doesn't drop as low as like a less powerful battery. So more voltage, more revs, more power, okay? So they're on Black Knight RC. They're about $260, these batteries.
Now correct me if I'm wrong,
yeah.
These are worldwide now.
These are worldwide. So Jake DeBossian, he's distributing these in the States and a lot of other guys. And they're having Mark Vine, one of the quickest racers. A lot of them are using this battery now. So he's done really well to get these around the world as an Aussie developed product, I guess.
Yeah.
And then also in
I think mine must be in the post somewhere. So
got lost in the
Jace?
Don't you have to have a car to run one?
I do. Jace?
He's been very good to us, and good discounts and codes on the website. So I bought this new body. I've been using the Proline bodies for a long time. The Corvette body C7 is very good. This is a Racer RC LS22. I haven't seen many guys run them out here. I was talking to Jake DeBossian on Messenger in the States. He says they're good for up to 90 miles an hour. They're very good, but you need to brace them. So I've contacted Brendan Baxter from Unfair RC, UFRC. He sells his products. Facebook page, you can contact him, or on Black Knight RC, he is a reseller for his products. He worked tirelessly through the week before the event, leading up to it, to send me this out. It's he does carbon fibre, he's got a CNC cutting machine, but this is also just a Lexan wing that he makes. Basically speaking, giving you all the downforce you need. Without this wing, the car gets really squirrely, you don't get as much traction, and so on. So apart from that, the body is really thin, quite flexible. He made up a body brace mounting system. It doesn't really show up on the camera, right? So at the front here where my fingers are, there's a V brace back into the front of the bonnet to the bumper. That stops, I'm pushing in quite hard with my hand here, and it doesn't flex, as you can see. Because when you cut the wheel arches out, without that brace, that front crumples right in, right? So also, we've got side braces where these bolts are on the side, and then at the back there's another one to stop the body from caving in, basically. So all the fast guys are running it. I'm trying to get fast. I'm building it as if it was a really fast car, but I'm still working. My fastest time is a 2.2 at about 6 miles an hour. So the guys in the States have just cracked 1.5 seconds at 101 mile an hour. That's Frank Ulbrich. He's known to be one of the fastest guys in the world doing this.
It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, so another shout out to Dan, who I run in this class. This is the 2.49 or faster class. It's called Outlaw. The other class is Outlaw 2. So the guys who are the heavy hitters are Kev, Meatball, John, Kev Tether. He takes out most of the events, so we're sort of trying to catch him. And Clint, and also Stu Mack, who's very well known to be fast in this sort of racing. They're down around 2 seconds, so I've still got about 2/10 to gain on those guys. But Dan, my mate, who's also got this car with a chassis from Brenton Baxter, he also makes chassis, Australian made, which is great to see. Otherwise, you have to order custom chassis from the US. So he's doing about 2.10, so I've got a little bit catching up to him. Anyway, so without going on too much, the main thing I wanted to mention is it's an Team Associated DR10, really cool kit to build. I think they're about $570 for the kit.
10M.
10M, sorry, and you do need your electronics. It only comes with the chassis kit and no electronics, wheels and tyres and body, so you will have to buy that. It comes with the wheelie bar and the chassis, both being fiberglass G10, so nice and rigid. They do an aftermarket carbon fiber chassis. And something that's really big in the States, Proline, I've used their tyres for a long time. These are called Cyril 3DFX. I've only seen them in the States. I didn't really want to have to order them from the States and wait for them and all this sort of stuff. But I saw a post on Facebook. Some guy said that they're being sold at RC Maker, which Nick Eigler from RevXS, he's working there, and they produce these. Their product service is really good, and they're selling these wheels that are produced in the States. So really soft tyre, they're belted, and so they don't balloon. They sell the tyres for $40 a pair, and they're very soft compound, and I've had good success with them, great traction. And the wheels themselves, tyres are $79, the wheels are $40. I've just got a chrome pen, as I was talking about before. Chrome pen, dresses them up. And I wanted to lower my body down, and compared to the normal 2.2 sort of size buggy rims, these are the Cyril 3DFX rims, which are a lot smaller diameter, bringing the front end down. They're a really hard compound tyre, and they're belted as well, so no ballooning.
This is my drag dog.
I reckon you can keep up for the first 10 feet.
0 to 100 in 7.6 seconds.
Yeah. This is where the battery goes.
I'm just running Futaba radio gear on this, guys, and I've got a Savox servo from Crazy Hobbies again. At the end of the day, I'm using an Exotech upgraded carbon front bumper where you can actually put your GNSS, that's the little data analyzer I was talking about. So that slots in the front, plus gives you a bit of weight at the front, right? I've got one other product I was going to mention is Team Morbo. So to fit that bigger battery, and if you don't have this mod, when you get a bigger battery for the DR10M, you'll need these side plates. They're a lot wider to accommodate this battery. So that's one thing from Team Morbo in the States. I think Jesse's his name that runs that company. Really good service. Priority shipping was about a week. It cost a little bit, but it was really quickly delivered. So they do a servo relocation mount to mount the servo up the front to weigh the nose down. I've got a bit of brass in the front there and the side plates. And last thing basically to mention, we run really big spur gears to get the gear ratio, the final drive ratio, to get to the top speeds in these cars, right? And there's such big gears with plastic, no matter how good the quality is, they flex and they warp. So now, I've never used it in any other cars, is a carbon plate that braces that spur gear, and it doesn't flex, and you're not going to break them as easily, I guess. So that's pretty much the rundown. DR10M, off-the-shelf kit, buy some electrics. If you want to know more, mention in the comments or anything like that, and or message us on Facebook.
But the quality of this has come so far compared to when we first started with our DR10s or plastic, our Lossy 22s. Like
Traxxas chassis.
The old Traxxas.
The
slash chassis. Sorry, excuse me. The quality and workmanship and design that's gone into these is quite incredible. So in such a short time, they've come so far. So drag racing has been around for what, a few years now.
Well, the more common,
the RC.
And
it's really started to get big in the past year and a half.
Yeah, they're paying out like 20 grand in the States for big events.
Wow.
So how our event works, yes, it's all for fun, but they do have a buy-in. So the fastest class is $50 buy-in, or the outlaw class. And the Outlaw 2 class, the 2.5 seconds up, which is a very competitive class. It's a bit easier if you don't test all the time and you work a lot. That's a bit easier to get those times. I guess you've got to spend a lot of time and effort to get down under the 2.5 times. It's $20 to go in, so basically 80% of the winnings go to the winner. 80% of the paid price that you go in it goes to the winner, and second gets some vouchers or the 20% rest of the pay. But yeah, you've got to put a lot of time and effort in. For those who like technical tuning of speed controllers, I've put a bigger cap pack on. That's a Rev XS cap pack. I think they're flash packs at Black Knight RC as well. So they just help with the voltage spike and protect your ESC and keep that voltage up while you're running. There's so much technical stuff you could go into with one of these. I don't want to bore everyone. That's pretty much the rundown from now. Custom paint job. So my orange truck I showed you before is the Tamiya
Black Knight RC.
There you go, Black Knight RC. Oh, and the Unfair RC, if you can show them Unfair RC, that's Brendan Baxter. He's a great bloke. He's running like 2 seconds in his cars, so they're very competitive.
That's the yellow one.
Knuckle Up is Black Knight RC battery. Racer RC is the brand of body. And Team Morbo is where to get all your fantastic carbon fibre parts for it.
You beauty.
Alright, so that's a wrap with that one for now.
Good fun too.
Heli time!
Yeah,
Heli time! People will be happy.
No more comments yet, but I know he's waiting for it. So
we'll clear the table.
The showstopper, the head turner.
We got 3 viewers now. Just hang tight. This is going to be so sweet. I cannot get over this bloody thing. Oh,
they take the disc.
I saw these here. I'll even move the chairs out of the way. I saw these 2 shady characters out on the street, and then I saw the Heli in the boot, and I thought they ain't shady characters. I know these guys.
No Slim Shadys here.
No Slim Shadys here.
He's got a 4-blader, mate.
Oh, jeez. It's gorgeous.
I think this thing's going to turn heads wherever he flies it. It's what, over 7? You're going to have to get it certified, right?
I will have to get it certified.
And gold wings.
And gold wings.
He's got a bit of work to go, but I've seen it hover in the trusty hands of Bob Flint, our good mate that's also helped me out a lot in setting up my helis over the years.
Yeah.
So he's got extensive knowledge and remote settings, all that sort of stuff. So it's good to have people that know better in the club. That's how we learn, right?
That's true. That's
always
true.
learning in this hobby. But to see this hover on such a windy day, you'd think it'd be stable because of the size and weight, but because of the size of it, it's got a big profile. The plastic body, the wind actually hits it pretty hard.
So you're going to get affected by that, any crosswind or anything like that. Hey? Oh, Captain Jack is here, and his jaw has just hit the floor because he's seeing what Tim is carrying. Please don't bounce your ball. We need the audio, Jackson. Okay, we need to hear. All right. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Look how big it is. You can. You're perfect right where you are, man.
Yep.
You're perfect right where you are. Excellent.
Good there.
All right. I'm gonna get out of the way. You guys do what you want to do.
We can talk about this beauty. So I can't get over the size of this thing. I've always wanted one of these.
Do I have to stand on my tippy toes here?
We're getting taken over by the main blades. But this is a Roban 800 scale EC135 Eurocopter, running on 12S. I think it's got a 560 kV motor, 130 amp speed controller, hobby wing platinum. It's got JR servos, and it's got a CG Y750.
The Fatalis controller.
Yep. 4-bladed head. The Fenstrom rudder system.
So it's all variable blades. Every single blade is variable pitch.
That's right. It all works. It all moves. As we can see, everything works. Yep, it actually sounds like an EDF when it's running.
Really? Yeah. It's got that whooshing noise.
It's got that whooshing noise. It sounds really good.
I'm going to do a bit of camera work. So do you want to do that again?
Come on, Spielberg. Yep. There you go. And let's zoom in on these. That's the ones here. So these are all variable pitch. That's a mod. That's an upgrade. Bob straight away did that because obviously I believe it helps keep the tail more steady having that pitch.
But it is the scale
like the
rudder system that works with the real one.
Yep.
With the real EC one.
So what can we show you here next? So we've got scale pilots. I don't know what brand they are as such, but obviously they've got flight suits on. They've got the heads-up display, the goggles. They're eating Maccas in there with a Coke and a cheeseburger. Yeah, we've got some lights in there, so we'll see if we can
bring the camera around as best we can. I can't go too far away from where I am.
If I turn it this way, can you see in the dash there, guys? See in here, just past the pilot here, there's some lighting up dash in there.
So we're looking down.
Yep, that's it.
In here, there
Perfect.
we
So that's all scale lighting detail, right?
Now it's the brightness is a bit off, so you can't see, but like every one of those screens, there we go.
There you can see
what I
everything.
mean?
Yep.
It's got its own little
Nick, I think Nick likes this one. He might have to. You can buy one for a cheap price of undisclosed.
Right? And then you've got some really nice scale details here.
What about FPV with this one, you reckon, Nick? Put some TBS crossfire, do some long range, do some rescue missions.
Okay, can we get you guys to turn it towards the camera? We'll get inside where the pilots are.
Yeah, flip him around and see that.
That's fine.
He's having a bit of a bludger, this bloke here.
Okay. So you got your
McDonald's
pilot,
having a cheeseburger and a
Macca's.
Coke.
And then you've got your main pilot. Oh, it's a bit of glare.
To give you an idea of the scale, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's not going to work.
That's not
all right.
working.
And then let's have a look inside the compartment at the. There. Oh, it's a bit dark.
Another pilot in the back there as well.
Yeah, chilling out.
Chilling out.
But there's just the scale detail of this thing. It just floors you, doesn't it?
And the size of it. The size of it is
Does that help in there, Jay?
Okay, yeah. Let's have a look. Let's look again. Yeah, you can get an idea.
So his head's actually behind the door because he's lying down in there. But we've got full interior. Oh, look, on the ground there, we've got a little medic box as well. Yep.
You can see the first aid kit there. I mean, look at the scale detail. All right. Is that dental floss? What is
Sponsored by
Band-Aids. Johnson & Johnson.
Steropads, Band-Aids, Thermopads, so all there, you know.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And so what actually is it? It's an Alpine air ambulance?
Air ambulance, yeah. Sorry, I'll just get rid of that noise. Yeah, it's Alpine air ambulance from the Swiss Alps, we believe. But we'll be getting a remodel shortly.
What do you mean?
So it's going to be getting a new paint job.
Yeah.
So new decals and things like that. Should we tell the people or should we keep them in a bit of suspense?
Do whatever you want.
What do you reckon, Gus?
I've already seen the flashing lights, if that gives it away. The flashing lights are red and blues, so leave it to your imagination.
Oh, there we go. You've just done it now.
We'll put a video up and we'll let you have it to imagination from there.
Yeah,
But look, you've got lights on a switch, right?
Yeah, we do have the lights on the switch.
You found a separate receiver in there that it was plugged into?
Yeah,
So
so we couldn't work out actually how to get the nav lights working or anything like that, or the front floodlight. And then I found that there was a separate receiver in there. So I took that out, wired it into the receiver, and now we have nav lights and a front
Little
spotlight as well.
Nick says, I destroyed that thing in no time. Blame the guy eating the cheeseburger. Not concentrating.
Nick is the guy eating the cheeseburger.
There you go. You beauty.
But yeah, look, this is something that I've always wanted, and you know, I finally got one. Special thing, one of 3 in Australia. Only 3 in Australia.
And what, this was found on Gumtree originally under the toys category.
It was under toy helicopter.
No way.
Toy helicopter. Unbuilt, it wasn't built, it was just a kit from Roban.
Fully assembled by...
Now, if anyone knows Roban, they know they're very expensive. You're looking $3,000 to $5,000 for a kit. But it was under toy helicopter. And our mate Bob found it on Gumtree and built it and got it up and flying, and now it's mine.
Amazing, man. What a beauty.
Were you nervous seeing it go up for the first time?
I was.
Even in someone who's very capable flying.
I was having heart palpitations myself.
Yeah, dude.
But look, I wouldn't trust any, like, obviously there's a lot of guys in the club that you would trust. Bob is one of them, and he flew it spectacularly, especially in the wind that we had there the other day.
Good show.
You know, but that was just a setup run, and it'll only get better. And
did you want to? Oh, you got the lights on the switch, yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Everything's on. It's good.
Good show. Beauty.
So, what are we expecting? You run 2 6S's in that?
2 6S runs on 12S.
12S. How many minutes flight time? We don't know exactly.
Don't know yet exactly, but I've only running the 4,000 milliamps. We can put a little bit bigger, probably the 5,000s in it.
I don't think it would be a problem carrying that weight.
No, it shouldn't. No, not with the 4-blade head.
Look at the 4-blade end, right? Jeez.
Yeah, it's a work of art. This whole thing is just a
So
work
what's
of
the
art.
mechanics? Is it actually a Roban frame?
So it's a Roban scale fuselage, and all the mechanics inside are actually Roban as well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
it's no T-Rex align.
No T-Rex, no align, no nothing like that. It's all Roban.
Very good.
Yeah, very good. This one, very good.
Oh, you got the red dragon.
Yeah, it's got all the scale stuff on it. You know, the flashing lights, the beacons, the slow beacon, the fast beacon.
It's even got the anti-slip matting on the side of the pads. And what are you going to add to it?
We're adding a winch on the side, a rotating spotlight that's going to be on a gimbal.
Yeah.
A couple of other flashing lights.
Cool.
Obviously a new paint scheme, new decals. Pilots are going to have to get a new bit of a makeover.
Yeah.
Get rid of the Aussie flag. Yeah. That was Yanks, eh?
Yeah.
And but it should look pretty good once
To
we're
be
all done.
continued.
Yeah. So I've actually been speaking to a guy from Sutherland called Greg Adams, and he's actually got a scale helicopter EC.
Really?
Sorry, it's an AS350 Mercurial. Paints it up the same as what I want, and he's actually sent me a lot of photos of the real one. Which is really handy to work off, to get all our scale details and all that kind of stuff. So
we'll just start it up and have a hover. Tim actually got that plan. We're just gonna, get off the ground a bit.
I think we need a bigger garage.
Yeah, I think we do. Not quite there.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so thanks for showing us that one. What a beauty! I just can't get over it. I really love
to move it off.
Yeah, you might. I really love that scale detail inside. So what I might do is just before we wrap up with events is quickly go over some airplane theory. But it won't be the boring one.
You sure?
We'll see how we go.
Sure about
if
that?
you want to get that out of
Let's
there.
get that as
Okay. Here, I'm
Is that a
best.
two-man job or you're right?
No, I'm right doing that.
I'm best teaching with a student. Now,
Unless
guys,
my neck fails.
All right.
and if you guys already know this, so I've talked to a few guys down the field, and sometimes when people older, let's say more wise pilots offer some
Old and bold pilots.
well, not bold because
Okay.
there are old pilots and there are bold pilots, and there tend to be no old and bold pilots. Anyway, so a lot of these guys will offer maybe some advice. Maybe it's solicited, maybe it isn't, and some people take that personally. Now, one thing we tried to never do when we were at the flying school was take any advice or theory discussion personally. It's not a personal attack. It's kind of like if you already know it, it's reinforcing what you already know and discovering what's really going on through discussion, right? So that's really all that these kind of theory lessons are going to be. Now I did have something planned where I was going to talk about air deflection, but I found it was a little dry, especially for something like a live stream. So what we will talk about are the axes of the aircraft, how the aircraft rotates around those axes, what the primary effect of given controls are, and then what some people may not know about, especially in aero modeling, what the further effect is. So here we got our airplane. We've got 3 axes, right? Because the airplane rotates around 3 controls in 3 dimensions. So the first dimension would be your pitch, right? Now we've got an axis that basically you can imagine taking a skewer and poking it in one wingtip.
Sure.
Goes through the center of gravity, so it may not be really through the wingtip, right? And then comes out the other wingtip. And the aircraft will rotate around that skewer. And of course, you guys know what we use for pitch. This one here called the
Elevator?
Aileron! Sorry.
No wonder why you're crashing. No, I'm just kidding.
That's the
horizontal stabilizer.
The horizontal stabilizer is the one in front of it, and behind it we have the elevator. They should call it a lift because we're in Australia.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they call it the elevator because, of course, you use air deflection, right, to give the tail downforce. It pivots around that skewer. Downforce on the tail pushes the nose up, right? Vice versa, you now get an up force on the tail, and that pushes the nose down. Now, that's the primary effect, right? The primary effect is you're flying along, you get a change in pitch. Now, we don't really see it so much in our models because our models are so light and powerful. But when you're flying a larger airplane, probably when you're even flying like a gasser, like your MSXR, if you don't have it on full power and you leave the power, say half, and you pitch up, what's going to happen?
You're going to decrease in speed.
Your airspeed decreases. You pitch down, your airspeed increases. So, primary effect of using the elevator is you rotate around the lateral axis. The further effect is you get an increase or decrease in airspeed. So those 2 forces are linked. We also have an axis that goes into the very tip of the spinner through the center of gravity and comes out the tail. That's called the longitudinal axis. It tends to be easy to remember because it runs the length of the aircraft. Okay, and your aircraft is going to rotate around that axis this way, right? And the controls you use are on the wings, and those controls are called
ailerons.
Captain Blanc.
So,
Robert.
All right. The primary effect of ailerons is to roll.
Sure.
Now this is where it can get a little, never knew that. But you guys inherently know this because when they teach you how to fly RC, they teach you to roll into the turn, and then they teach you to
yank and bank.
Pull the elevator
back
to keep the nose
Give it a
up.
good tug on that elevator.
Okay, and this is why they say that. Imagine, well, first off, how slippery is ice?
Pretty damn slippery.
Okay. Would you say the air is more slippery or less slippery than ice? Air. Can you slide through it easily?
Yeah.
Friction.
Absolutely.
A lot less slippery or a lot more slippery than ice.
Slippery than a gypsy.
So the idea is we roll the airplane. It starts slipping like this downhill. Imagine you put it on a hill. It'll slide down an icy hill. Now what happens is our center of gravity, now I don't have the battery in this aircraft at the moment, but the center of gravity is usually about where the spar is. Often in civilian aircraft where the pilot sits, right about here, right? And we're almost there in this airplane, which tends to be a bit tail heavy. Remember my dramas with this one?
Flight.
So there's your pivot point. Now you notice you've got a lot more surface area behind the pivot point than you have in front of the pivot point. So as it slips, airflow comes up and deflects the airplane. Whatever's in front of the center of gravity will try to deflect it away from the direction of the slip. Whatever is behind the center of gravity will try to deflect it into the direction of slip. And guess what? You've got more behind than in front, and behind wins. So you'll roll the airplane, it'll start to slip, and it'll look like the nose will drop. But this type of motion that you're getting is our next type of motion.
Yaw effect.
Adverse
yaw.
That's not adverse yaw, but that's yaw.
Oh, sorry.
You get a roll, and then your secondary motion.
Get the cane.
Your secondary motion is a yaw. So it'll start with a roll and lead to a yaw. Roll and yaw are interrelated. Now our last axis is you take the pen or the skewer and you poke it right through the center of gravity,
through the cockpit,
right through the top, comes out the bottom, and the aircraft rotates around that like this. And that motion, Tim, is called
it's called
Listen to me.
That's your yawing motion.
The yawing motion.
The yawing motion controlled by
the rudder.
The rudder, exactly. And guess what? So you get a yaw first. And yaw is related to roll. We said that before. You're then going to get a roll. Why do you get a roll? Well, because as you yaw the aircraft, your relative airflow is now coming from here. Right? You get some shielding where this whole part of the wing has not got very excited airflow. Right? Because it's getting shielded by the fuselage. This wing is completely exposed to the airflow. So you're going to have more lift on this wing than you get on that wing. And that's why you get, if you, all you use is rudder to turn an airplane, you will yaw and then it'll roll. Okay? So your yaw and your roll are interrelated, which is why whenever you roll, you should give it a little bit of rudder and a little bit of elevator and bring her around to turn nice and neat. If you yank and bank, you risk
tip stalling.
Anyway.
But someone happened to do in a big horn the other day, provided by Figs RC.
Oh, look, that wasn't because you were yanking and banking, though.
I think that was a combination of gusty wind, wing over, not enough altitude into the ground. But Jay's going to help me fix that, right?
Fix the plane.
Could have been pilot also.
Well, that's what I thought. I never had that happen yet, so there you go.
Anyway, so hopefully that wasn't as boring as the, well, you didn't see the other thing, but trust me, it's not
This was
boring.
three-dimensional. It was quite good.
But that's quite informative. That's informative, and I think people can learn a lot from that and put it into their flying of models. You know,
that's right. Instead of just banking and yanking, add a bit of yaw in. Good recipe for a smooth and scale turn, I guess, if you're doing some scale flying. Like us with the helis. You know, we fly planes more often than helis, I guess. So, you know, it's a different way of flying. It really makes you think about things,
good show. So I think that's pretty much it for the main components of today's stream. What we might I saw Nick's got some messages. Nick's the only one guy leaving us messages, so thank you, Nick, and we appreciate that, man.
I'll have that cheeseburger with you next time.
And then I look forward to flying with you soon. I haven't seen you down the field. Probably.
We haven't.
Good. Yeah.
But no.
Well,
we haven't been there that often, you know, with rain and everything.
That's not Nick Welburn.
Oh, it's a different Nick.
That's Nick. That's Nick
Hi,
the
Nick.
musician.
Oh,
Hi,
Nick the
everybody.
musician, Nick. We've heard a lot about Nick the musician. Stop
He's
Nick.
a guru on micro drones. He loves them. He's into all sorts of RC as well.
Yeah.
But he's just about to acquire a couple of E-flight planes to bring down and hopefully have a fly and have a bit of fun. But he'll be
And we
there.
can't go wrong with
local?
E-flight planes, can we?
Sorry?
Is he local? Does he live close by?
He lives up at Thornley, Westley, yeah. So we'll be getting him down for a fly. Don't you worry, Nick. We'll get you there.
No worries.
And you got a 5-inch drone. You got to get you that up and flying, and maybe follow me in a plane. We'll see if we can get some crash footage.
Hey,
Maybe
yeah.
interesting stuff for the channel.
We should paint his planes yellow.
No, whatever do you mean?
Okay,
He
so
just commented the better Nick.
excellent. All right, so we're gonna now talk about current events, what's going on around the Sydney area that we're privy to anyway, and go from there. So let's start off. Young Gus here is going to talk about the drag event coming up.
Oh, geez, I'm a bit unprepared. Western Sydney drag races, basically they do it monthly, so that was about 2 weeks ago. We've got it on the 15th of October is the next event. 10 a.m. they start. Practice set up to about 12 o'clock. If you're just a spectator and don't want to be out there all day, the qualifying and the real racing begins from basically 1 o'clock right through till 7 p.m. And yeah, come out and join us, check it out, get some videos, some pictures of the cars. There's usually a jet turbine truck out there. It's about this big and a big jet turbine, and it's just something to see in person, that's for sure. The sound, the smell, the smoke, the red glow at night of the engine, it really gets you going. So hopefully we'll be having another go in that event next October the 15th. What have we got next after the drag event, I think, time-wise?
Okay, so we have our weekend sports scale fun fly for WRCS. This is our 60th anniversary celebration. But as you can see from the graphic, it is postponed due to field wet.
Oh!
Is field wet a verb? Anyway.
Near the shady picket, we have the field wet. Holy!
So, what it means is that, I mean, the field is just a bloody bog still, and after the rain we've had this week, I mean, you step into it and it squelches and leaves a footprint that's 3 or 4 centimeters deep.
Yeah.
The field itself has got footprints and ruts on it, so there's a small area that we're able to land on, but it's not too great. Now, having said that, although that is postponed, we have been invited to the Sydney Society of Model Engineers field. This is in Luddenham, and they have invited us over that weekend on the 29th and 30th of October to go as WRCS and celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Model Aeronautic Association Australia, which is our insurance company, right?
MAAA.
MAAA. So it's their 70th anniversary, and they have graciously invited us to come down and use their facilities. I'm going to bring some of my large-scale models to that.
Sure.
So I'm going to bring the A-10 that you just saw, and I am also going to bring that 1/5 scale Mustang. I can only go on the Sunday, but I'm definitely going to bring those two down. Hopefully that flies. I've got to get it mocked, that is to say inspected first.
So that's internal combustion. How many cc?
That's 55 cc. Yeah. I haven't shown that one on camera yet. I'm going to have to do it on live stream, but it's a bloody big plane to get down, isn't she?
She's
Big beautiful doll.
Big beautiful doll.
She's
Hey,
a big,
doll.
beautiful doll. Doll.
Does that mean its name is Doris? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I couldn't imagine who would be crazy enough to sell that to you, Jay.
I don't know, but
What an
yeah.
idiot.
Picked up a good deal, I think.
He definitely spends a lot of time at Crazy Hobbies. So there's that one. And now we have, as WRCS, the Warringah Radio Control Society, we have got a really amazing opportunity this year.
We do.
And I'm going to let Tim talk about that.
We
Go
do.
ahead.
So for those of you who don't know, or many of you would know, Wings over Illawarra is probably one of the most, the best air shows that I've been to.
Sure, I can back that up. I've been there with Tim last year.
Yeah, and I think it's an incredible, day out or weekend out if you go there for both the days. But it's on the 12th and 13th of November. This year, special appearance, Air Force Roulettes, the PC-21s.
Oh yeah.
Now, I did see them over the Sydney Football Stadium watching a
so
Rabbitohs game.
Did you?
Yeah, and it was incredible. The sound coming through the stadium when they were all looping above it. fantastic.
Formation flying.
It actually gives me chills.
I've got
You see it, I've got goosebumps.
Yeah,
I love
pasta
it.
freckle.
But
And
look,
what, F-35 something to look forward to?
last year they had the F-35.
I thought
and
F-15s were allowed, but Jesus.
they did have the last display of the F-18,
Yeah, true.
which is absolutely amazing to see last year.
Yeah.
Though they have replaced it with F-35.
Do you
Yeah.
reckon they'll get the Super Connie up this year?
I don't know. I
Read.
think it is to be up in there. Look, that's something I'd love to see personally.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, we've been down there many times and seen it just sit in a hangar.
Yeah.
You know, and she's beautiful. She
Haas
lives in the air.
Museum.
She's gorgeous,
You know,
man. I've been on a Victor 1. So there was I don't know if you remember, it was probably around 2010, 2013, something like that. There was the 16-year-old girl, Aussie, who circumnavigated the globe by herself.
Yeah.
The day that she came in to Sydney Heads, I was doing a Victor 1. That's 500 feet above the ocean, flying south, beam the heads, and guess who came up beside me?
No way.
The Super Constellation.
Really?
Are you kidding?
I'm in my Tiger Moth, and they're waving at me, and I'm waving at them. It was awesome, man.
That's something to talk about.
Yeah.
That's something to talk about.
Who else? Do you reckon Matt Hall will be making
Matt Hall, I reckon,
down
will
there?
definitely be down there. He's always down there.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
always does his meet and greets.
He's
He
got
does
a
his
little
aerobatic display.
Yeah.
Super nice guy.
Yeah.
Fantastic to have a chat to.
Yeah.
You know,
Who's Matt Hall, for those of us who don't know?
Matt Hall is a ex-fighter pilot for the Australian Air Force.
World Air Racing
World
champion.
Red Bull Air Race champion. He has his own scenic flights and that stuff that he does.
Yeah.
He has a P-51 Mustang flight. He does his joy flights in the extra 300L.
Yeah.
Some aerobatics. You do some aerobatics and things like that. But super great guy to speak to.
Good job.
During COVID, when all the planes were on the airport, not in the air, he was doing flights from sunset to nighttime over Sydney Harbour. And that's something you can't get really because the airspace is always taken up. So I saw that on a post the other day with his Facebook page. That would have been amazing to do. But yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
And I think one of the
as well.
one of the good things to look forward to is the WRCS static display.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so
display down there.
We're going to be down there. We're going to have a few planes down there, and we will be there meeting and greeting people. And talking about our models and our club. And promoting the sport that we love, you know, and that's in flying our models.
And what was one of the most fun things we did, right? We've seen this tent and this naval helicopter, the new one.
Oh yeah, the new Taipan, the Taipan. Yeah.
And we got to go in this tent and line up, and your son did too, right?
Yeah.
We got to sit in these simulators with the goggles on. You know, it was fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
It's good fun. It's a good family
it was so
event.
realistic. Yeah.
Good family event. You can bring the kids down, have a great day, good food, and it's, you know, what's better than sitting
And you
there
get to go up
watching
close.
planes all
We
day.
walked through a C-130 Hercules fuse.
we
you know.
130.
Yeah,
we sat in the Taipan.
Yep.
We sat. We had Harley sitting in the little pits.
Yep, and you got a little special medal to be part of the C-130 crew.
He did. Yeah. He was very lucky to get that.
So yeah, no, that's really cool. I mean, that was most of the excitement that we sort of Paul Bennett air shows.
Paul Bennett air shows.
With the
that's
biplanes, I
Jesse's
guess.
pits that Harley was sitting in.
Yeah.
You know, like even for the kids to be able to sit in a real plane.
Yeah.
You know, and especially an
I'll
aerobatic
never
plane.
forget it.
Yeah.
You know, like my son still talks about the day where he walked through a Hercules, met the captain, got a coin, flew a flight simulator, and sat in an aerobatic
All in
plane.
one day.
All in one day.
Yeah, he'll remember that for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Look, we've got some other interesting airplanes that are confirmed to be flying on the day.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
the Grumman Avenger.
man, that's an awesome plane to watch. The presence in
The
the air,
sound
the
of the
size
radio.
of it,
Yeah.
the size of it is unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, seeing one of them up close, you wouldn't think it's that big, but they are.
They're massive.
really big. They're high.
Yep.
You know, they're way off the ground.
Yeah.
Especially when they're in the air.
Yeah. Fancy that. Much bigger than the stunt planes. The
Yeah.
biplanes.
We got the Focke-Wulf 190 down there.
Yeah.
The F4U Corsair.
Oh.
CA27
Are you swearing
Sabre.
at me?
No,
F4U?
F4U. No, that's FU Corsair.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Lockheed Super Constellation Connie, as we
Yeah.
spoke about.
Yeah. So
that's
all
giant,
of those airplanes are confirmed to be putting on flying displays on the day.
Yeah.
This is all weather permitting.
Weather
of course.
depending.
Weather permitting. Yeah. We were down there last year and it was a bit touch and go with the rain and that.
It was very overcast.
And the display still went on.
Yeah.
And we still had a great day.
Okay.
Fantastic day.
Do you think
Drove
we'll be able to
home.
fly any of our planes off the runway?
I don't know. Maybe without clearance. But
Yeah, definitely not.
Maybe I can chase it.
Okay, and last on that list is we do need to speak to the owner, but we expect that Knife Edge RC is going to be
making an
putting on
appearance.
a display, and it will have some aeroplanes for sale on site, we hope. So keep up to date on that one. We'll let you guys know exactly what's going on.
Edge 540 Super Decathlon.
Yeah, here, let's see if we're pointing here. Let's
Bushmasters.
We'll flip back over to this one. Okay, yeah, so Super Decathlon.
Super Decathlon up here does scale flying, stunt flying, bit of everything. You're having a great time flying that.
I love that air.
You know, I was really surprised seeing that the other day when we were flying.
Yeah.
Just the quality of it, but also the presence in the air.
Yeah.
Coming into land.
Yeah.
The smoothness of it.
And the hover.
I loved it. Right? I loved watching it.
Yeah.
What about the hover? Remember the hover? You're in the
It was
so windy down there, right?
That's what you call a slippery gypsy hover. It was sideways hovering.
It was so windy.
But I said, how are you doing that?
It's just taking it down the runway.
A parcel of air moving, man. Moving in relation to the
But I think we
ground.
both did things that day that we hadn't done before. You know?
Yeah, we did.
And then,
you were inverted lower than this table at one point. And I'm flying over here and he says, Jay, look. You're like, what? I can't look, I'm busy.
But you saw it coming in front of you in your
saw
peripheral?
it. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Upside down, about the height of the table, man.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
It was a good day. I had a good time.
I had a really good day.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you say? We wrap it up. Anything else we want to...
All we can hope for is that our field dries up soon.
Yeah.
There'll be more flying videos, other things for you guys to check out in the future. Tim's Heli, footage of that flying.
Yeah.
The Bighorn, my bright green Bighorn. Some more race drone chase footage.
Yeah.
And hopefully the Big Beast and the MXSR.
Yeah, I've got a beast.
They're going to be going up soon.
I hear, hey, do we know if that Challenger, that pitch Challenger is sold yet?
Oh,
Because you see that bike, somebody's coming to look at that bicycle tomorrow.
Oh, yeah? Is that going to fund a Pitts Challenger?
Look, I gotta say, I want a walk snail with a Fat Shark digital drone.
Yeah,
I do want that because after losing my drone in the bush, every time you bring your drone out, I get a little jelly, I gotta say.
Yeah,
so, but man, I see that Pitch Challenger and I fly that simulator, Real Flight 9.5. There's a Pitch Challenger I've got in that one.
Yeah.
Beautiful plane.
I don't know. Where's the money going to go? And OMP Hobby's got another series of airplanes coming in. He's got a laser coming in. He's got a larger Edge 540 coming in. Is that right?
Yeah, so the larger. Also, the laser and the Raven, they are the AJ models planes, so you can find them on AJ website until Fix gets his own in. Steve from Nice Edge RC puts them on his Facebook page.
Yeah.
But they're selling like hotcakes, these things. He's also got some M1 Helis too. So I think they range for around the $400 mark roughly with a remote control. We'll have to follow that up. Yeah, so if you guys want to get into a small heli, that's something that he also sells. And some 3D planes, scale planes, you name it, he's got it.
Yeah. So I don't know.
That old chestnut down at the dog on the tucker box at the moment. So wait till he comes back, and we've already got a few guys at the club that want more.
He said, "Oh, for sure." I said, "Oh, sorry, I can't come." This was last week. I can't come to the live stream. I've got the little big rigs. For sure, I'll come next week. Yeah.
It's okay. That one.
It's okay. I did get out of that one. I wish if I had the opportunity he has this weekend, I would be there as well. So
absolutely.
I understand that.
Well, I guess that wraps most of the stuff up. Is there anything else we can think of?
Well, hopefully Sunday we're down at the field. We don't depends on what the weather's doing. So what did you say the forecast was?
Partly cloudy, mostly sunny from I think 10 a.m. onto maybe 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Light winds. We'll see what we can drum up. A bit of fun between us, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get up in the air sometime.
Yeah. And if not, then we got lots of helis, so they don't. The mud doesn't really fuss them too much, right? Except for that big heavy monster over there that we showed you before.
That won't be going up anytime soon.
No, man, I tell you, watching you fly that Goblin, I think you got some skill.
Skill,
getting there.
The confidence,
So I wouldn't call it skill, I might call that luck. I've never done a roll or anything. I thought, I'll give it a go, and it worked.
It came good, man.
It worked.
Yeah. So if we don't get a fly in, maybe we'll get a crawl in. Who knows? Well,
Either way, I'm sure we'll get footage, and you'll see it on Jimmy D's RC.
Or on RC Gus.
Maybe.
Or on Figs RC. Well, not Figs because he's away. Lucky guy. Yeah, okay, so that is that. So thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Share it around, tell your friends, subscribe. Man, we can always use your help growing our channels. Check out RC Gus's channel. Check out Figs RC.
You'll see Tim's planes flying on our channels.
Tim doesn't have a YouTube page, a channel as of yet. Maybe he will in the future. Oscar at Crazy Hobbies, check out he's got some really entertaining videos. I really love his car videos. Not a lot of flying stuff though.
You might see a familiar face in there.
You might see a familiar face.
We do have a flying video.
Do you?
It was a UMX Radian down by the water. And guess where the plane landed?
In the water.
On or in?
Oh,
that was quite funny.
Yeah,
he knows how to fly though, so
but,
it's good to see.
They're entertaining videos. Like there's one video I remember you guys doing where you were in an RC truck that just went so dirt fat. I mean, what were you going skimming across the top of the water?
Across the water, X-Max, Traxxas, 8S, paddle tyres, across the top of the water, living life on the edge, no floats on it in case it sunk, and
it did sink.
Yeah, it did. Oscar had to go for a swim in his singlet and I sit there zooming in, filming him. I'm sure he liked that.
He would have to take off his trackies and everything.
Yeah.
Shoes, socks.
That's right, they're just zip-ups, right?
One last thing I want to talk about. This is BBRC equipment. And BBRC equipment was at the Clarendon Classic at the weekend, Little Big Rig Sydney, and he has got an excavator. I just put a video up just this morning, I believe, of earth movers. I call it earth movers or something like that.
Sure.
And it's all like the civil equipment, right?
Yeah.
So the type of
That's
thing
all the stuff that I do.
Yeah, that you do, exactly.
I drive the real ones.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about this? What was it, a Liebherr 996?
Yeah, so
The
that's
white one, yep.
Yeah, that's what they generally use on mine sites, things like that. It's a massive excavator.
The RC one weighed what, 65 kilos?
I think it's about 60 kilos.
And how many thousands of dollars? Up to...
I don't know if we should mention it
over...
It'll be in the price range from
10 to
18,000 to 20,000. It'll be somewhere around there.
But that's used to train people on, right?
They do use that to train people.
Business.
Yeah, because it's fully hydraulic, it's fully operational. All the controls are exactly the same as what you find in a normal size excavator. So it's completely realistic, and you can actually train someone to work. And as we do our muscle memory,
yes,
that's exactly what it does.
Yeah,
because you can see what everything does, and then you go jump in the big one. And probably demolish a truck.
So hopefully next year, if you missed it this year, hopefully next year, Clarendon Classic Truck Show at Hawkesbury Showgrounds, he might have that out there. Also the dump truck, I love that dump truck.
The dump truck is really cool.
That was good, right?
It's
The Caterpillar, big mine dump truck, and they're to scale, they're 1/20th scale.
1/20th of it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah,
so check out his YouTube channel as well. BBRC Equipment, I think it's called. BBRC Equipment. Fantastic channel, and very interesting stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's all for us tonight. Thanks very much for stopping by. Again, please subscribe, like, share if you enjoyed the video. Check out RC Gus. Tim doesn't have a page, but if he did, we'd be plugging him too. All right. Say goodbye, boys.
Adios, muchachos.
Thanks for having us, Jimmy.
All right. All the best. Cheers.
See you guys.
Ah.